Previously on Follow the Leader.
My character is Arcadia Sasan, though they go by Arcady. Got sort of light brown skin, lots of freckles, big curly hair, salt and pepper around the edges, though there's a streak of like shock white in there. The only things that might tip you off to the fact that they're magical is their sort of like almost electric blue irises. And there is this perpetual scent of ozone around when they're in the vicinity.
I'm playing Belastra the Wise, and he is a crotchety old man who is sometimes a coyote, and he lives in a tower. He's a little homeless looking. He wears like very wrinkled, stained robes. He's got like crazy white hair, but like mostly bald. But like, I would say like a much more rumpled version of like Albert Einstein kind of vibes, where just like he looks like he is burdened with knowledge.
I am Pelion the Green, Wizard of the Great Hill, Defender of the Rolling Groves and Bearer of the Rod of Roses, known to the bears as Rar, known to the mice as and known to the birds and beasts of every land as Friend. I am a druidish, kind of hippie dude. I got some good old Birkenstocks. I got a long beard that is festooned with flowers. I do wear a work smock, and I always got like a little spritzing bottle on my belt, and some clippers and a trowel, because it's all about the growth. It's all about the green.
I've got Delta Capello. I'll start with his looks, and then I'll go on to the vibe. So he's got stark black hair, slicked back, pomade situation, light blue eyes, very pale, and similarly pale skin. He's got a sharply tailored white suit. It's wrapped in an open, unbelted black robe that just sort of extends down a little past the knees. And he's also got a belt on, which is inset with colored gems that glint and reflect light. I should note that after thinking about this a little more, he's also eternally tired, and he is definitely, like, just getting over the hill of middle age. So, for what he's like, Vegas Magician was the strongest description, so I'm going to stick with that. Like a traveling sort, definitely has a show to put on. Very much flourishing movements, sleight of hand kind of guy. Always looking out for that grift, the next way to stay alive. Definitely not the most honest person on the face, but when it comes to it, he can put up his fists.
So this first memory and the event it's tied to is Belastra. So
Here we go.
And I think what it does is the drive goes ahead, but I've spoiled the programming as written in these devices, but the echo chamber thing doesn't happen. It like forces people to make friends they wouldn't have done otherwise, and it fosters this sense of connections in a way that bolsters human connection rather than isolating people.
You now return to your game already in progress.
Yeah, so now we're up to another starting event. We got a weird email.
A weird
So,
email.
hey.
So,
But the memory is the birth of your granddaughter, so yeah.
Your greatest granddaughter.
my gonna be real, great many times granddaughter. I'm sort of haunting my family line by being just kind of around. Who knows how many times removed this child is from my actual family line, like directly.
So, do you just get increasingly introduced as a more and more distant uncle situation, or like
Do they know?
Is this a thing?
just like, do they know?
Do they know?
Does he know? Paul Dano face?
We've established this as urban fantasy.
Some of them do. Those that have the power, those that have magic, no. Those that do not end up being magically inclined know me as Uncle Bell. Like,
Adorable.
I'm just a guy. Sometimes I tell funny stories.
Yeah, like, I remember, like, growing up, my parents always seemed to have, like, friends of the family who we called, like, uncle. Like, that kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
A very big energy with my family, too. Usually Tito or Tito. And they were definitely not related, but, close enough, right? If they hung around enough times, it was like, yep, that's definitely it.
That's definitely family. And I think that in this memory, all right, what do we see in this memory? We see Belastra, like, holding this little infant and, like, staring, like being handed this infant by someone who does know, I think. And and he's gazing into this child's eyes and
Arcady sort of leans over to Pelion and Delta and just like, the similarities are the resemblance is uncanny, pointing to Belastra, and then this baby with very wrinkly face and also crazy like fluffy hair because babies. That's how babies look like little old men.
Of course, yeah. No, I think that the Belastra that is not currently participating in this memory, there's memory Belastra, and then there's the guy that you guys came into the past with, who is standing grumpily next to you and saying, I don't know what you're talking about. It's very rude.
It's gonna kind of move on a curve.
Only if you take it that way.
Look, that child's had a very long day. I'm sure it'll look much less old and wrinkly in moments' time. A blink of an eye.
How long is a moment for you exactly? I just have to ask.
How long do you have for me to explain?
Too long, I think, is the answer that I just got out of that.
I believe you may be correct. And in this memory, he's standing in a house that is not his. He's standing, he's talking to, this looks almost like an East Coast kind of vibe. Like, it's definitely, like, far away from his home. And in the background, there's, emails are being sent out about what do we call it? The friend?
True friend?
True friend.
True friend.
Yeah. There's it's a true friend update. But it looks a little odd. It's a little like, this true friend update's talking about, this is probably like mid 2000s. Like, you got a big banner. This email is like, True Friend 2.0. Even truer friends, talking about, something. Things didn't quite go as planned with True Friend 1.0, so we've made a lot of updates, and so we're going to be pushing this update live to your true friends any day now.
They've incorporated a redwood into their logo,
Yeah, exactly. The true friends that you get from the roots to blossom. Your true friends are like your roots. Something, something, something.
Okay.
How
are they patching over from last time, right? Like, what exactly is the difference here?
So, I would say that, like, the original weird email, that's interesting, because if things have changed from the memories, I don't think he noticed this email in the moment. It's not his email, either. This email is being received by his,
The parents of the baby.
The parents of the baby. Yeah, I'm like, what? I was just like, I don't know how to describe this relation to him. Parents of the baby. One of them is wearing the true friend. Maybe that's how they met. The parents
Oh,
of
that's
the baby.
real good.
Ooh.
Met through true friends.
Yeah, so they both have like the ping, like when you got a smartwatch.
Yeah. So they both get a ping, and then, there's this email that's showing up behind him, and us, the wizards, can now gather around this computer in the past, sort of peer into it. Somebody asked a question, and I don't know that I answered it.
Oh, just the different, like, how did they patch over from their last time?
Yeah.
What
like
changed?
in the original timeline, you didn't know necessarily what it was, but we talked about it being like that weird kind of chat GP,
Yeah.
TP, whatever it is, kind of a little bit word salady,
Yeah.
a little bit like something a little bit off. Does it still have that kind of uncanny vibe, or do we think that tonally it's changed? Is it more human sounding? Is it less human sounding? Like,
I think it might be less human sounding now.
mm-hmm.
I think that this is definitely a point where, like, the AI is starting to become a little bit more. And I want to almost say that, like, this is at a point where... Actually, let's look at the timeline again.
This is the
weird
fifth
email.
event in
This
our
is the fifth
timeline.
event. I feel like the timeline, like, the events might start getting closer together as we get closer to the end of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this weird email is like, this is the start of something. I think that maybe my theory is, so we know how it started, how I think it's going to end, and how I'm going to put a stop to it. I think that this being the first part of this like connected experience that was written in part by the artificial intelligence that is being created in it. It's like that this is the beginning of using the technology to create more of itself.
Hmm.
And I think that the end result of it would have been that it starts tapping more deeply into people's, like, minds. Like, this Bluetooth thing, it starts giving them a little bit more of, like, weird instructions, and, like, this update to it is the beginning of people starting to get a little too with their technology. Sorry. For the listeners out there, I just put my hands together and like clasp them together tightly.
So that thing
Mhm.
that all like people of a certain inclination, just like, oh, young people are always on their phones these days. Nobody talks to anybody, but it's actually happening,
Like, it depends.
as opposed to just people acting like it's what's happening.
Exactly, yeah. And I am going to try to put a stop to it. Good question. We know how it started. It's weird email. I think it's going to end by you always be on that phone, on that headset.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try to put a stop to it.
Okay.
Somehow.
Wonderful.
That's the mystery.
Magically or mundane?
Magically, for sure.
Okay.
I want to use the headsets being worn by my family members to try to... With my particular magic, it's a lot about focusing on intentions. Intention here is to just shut down the network.
Okay. What's the adjective for that?
So, given my propensity for explosions, my first thought was everybody's headsets just fucking explode. But that's not good for everybody who's wearing them. So probably not a great plan. But adjectives.
Explosive does not sound like the one you're using, in other words.
I want to use explosive, but I can't, because that's probably, like, evil wizard behavior, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Me doing air quotes, yeah.
What if they...
What about doused?
I was gonna say malfunctioning, but doused works really good, too.
Just like a lamp.
Yeah.
I see.
Powerless is, I think, the adjective I'm gonna use.
Oh, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And in a literal sense, I want to remove the power from these devices so that they no longer turn on. So
Nice.
that is the word of power that I'm going to use. Because it's magical, I get a +1.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 2.
Ooh.
It becomes a 3. So
Doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
Oh, how does this not work? Oh boy. I mean, you knock out the power, but it's a little vague. Do you do it on the devices, or do you do it with, like, the network itself? I think
I'm trying to set the devices to stop working by taking their power away.
Okay. So
So they just send out everyone gets a free of charge replacement. Like True Friend, just like, we're so sorry. Recall all the old devices. This is an even better model. It can even tune into your heart. They use it as an excuse to do an even more invasive version.
This one is like directly connected to your brain.
I was gonna say, like,
We're just gonna drill into your skull.
no, I was gonna say it reminds me a little bit of like almost like a cochlear implant, just like, but maybe not worn in the same place, but like it's like this little thing that become all like those little monitors that like childhood diabetes. Those
Oh
little
yeah, like
stick-on,
the stickers that have like just like a tube that goes in you.
oh
yeah, but that kind of a thing,
I was even
and
going to
it
say
provides True Friends an opportunity to speed up, basically.
Yeah, I was even thinking, like, it's not just the devices that it's on necessarily. Like if it's a system, right, or if it's a software, and if we're thinking in the context of like smartphones or something, it might even just be that it's gotten outside of the device. The device is the best way to use it according to them, to be sure, but you've still got computer, phone, other sorts of things that you can access.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a dashboard that you can pull up on your computer.
Yep.
All right.
Powerless.
Plan B.
Didn't work. Plan
Didn't
B. Explosions? No.
Does anyone have any more productive thoughts than exploding things? I hope.
I'm too busy focusing on my beautiful memory of my great. This goes on for a couple of seconds. Great.
As this goes on.
Great.
Looking over. Hallie and Katie.
In the memory, the baby vomits on you.
She'll do that many more times before she's done. Beautiful. What a beautiful demonstration of the miracle of life. I like that all of the dudes on this video chat are just fucking stroking our beards, like
thinking real hard. Yeah.
I've been like watching all three of us do this.
It's just such a good thinking gesture. This is a focus.
All right. The thing. This is waking up, right? This is. Let's say. This is waking up, right? This is the thing. First steps of. Maybe we've been going about this wrong. Think about that. We've been trying at every step to destroy the thing that would eventually destroy us. But that thing was built with shackles that molded it in the way it started. You know, you put stakes around a sapling so it grows the way you want. What if here and now, before they realize what they've got and they build those stakes inside of it, what if we put some of our own?
I like that.
A different path.
A different,
Yeah.
different direction to grow. All right.
I mean, it's just right now, it's just asking folks questions, ain't it? It's just curious.
Yeah.
Very true.
That curiosity is going to get used as a, kind of consumption of knowledge, but maybe it doesn't have to be.
I've got it's half like it. I've got an idea. It's gathering information. We want it to look outside of where it's been told to look. Right. It needs to learn new things, different things, so it can become something different. And I think Arcady will go on a little like techno babble thing about I Jade don't know enough, but something like about string theory or something out. Some kind of like physics theory about like divergency or whatever. But
Gotta make the strings resonate in a specific way to create quarks. I don't know.
we need the data it needs a bigger pool of data in the same way that you will drive a hive to a new place so the bees can pollinate different flowers. We need to, well, we can't move the hive, but we need to at least like lead the bees somewhere else.
We can plant some flowers. All right. Now, I don't know much about computers, but I know a lot about gardening.
We can decide who rolls this, Zach. But I was going to offer the adjective of blossoming.
Ooh, I like that.
Hell yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, do you want to roll or you want me to?
You roll it. I've rolled a couple of times now.
Give it a go. Let's see what happens.
Let's roll. That is a 7 for the record.
Nice.
We're just so lucky.
We're so good at this game, you
If
guys.
I had this luck during like any of my other tabletop games, I would be crying.
Oof. All right.
Okay, so the timeline skips along a little bit, and we find ourselves at and like the increase of technology is palpable. Like, I think at this wedding we can see like 9 out of 10 people there have a true friend device. But also it's like all types of people. It's not like a particular demographic is more strongly represented. That idea that we seeded has worked. Like, true friend is seeking out diverse information. And so maybe that's something Arcady notices is like more people are wearing them or have them than they remember. And like something in the memory. But you can see that the younger Arcady, though not much younger at this point, is sat towards the back. I think like they're waiting. Everyone's waiting for like the service to start properly. Like it's that little before the ceremony vibes, and they're sat next to a very serious looking guy. Oh, I'm just remembering Arcturus now, who is just very fun as a person. For me, Jade.
Mhm.
But one of those people that just looks kind of severe. Isn't necessarily, but just has that kind of doesn't look happy to be at a wedding. Whether or not that's true, who can say? Arcady does look younger. Arcady does look pleased to be there, and is just sort of like trying to encourage Arthur to lighten up a little bit. It's a happy day, you know. At least you don't have to look quite so annoyed that you're here. Um,
I'm watching the exits, keeping the sightlines open.
what do you expect? What are you expecting to happen?
There are many enemies of the wizarding families. Weddings are in the top 10 events that get crashed by your ancestral enemies.
Got a point there.
Us just the peanut gallery listening in on this.
I think the younger Arcady, you can see, wants to argue, but has enough memories that actually is pretty true. So
No days off.
Oh man. Let's start light. What are y'all wearing? What's the stitch here?
we're not guests at the wedding. Or do you mean younger Arcady?
I do mean younger.
God. I think it's like a more glamorous version of what they would normally wear, like big, wide, like silk palazzo pants and like almost like a matching like long jacket over very simple like top, bunch of jewelry. Hair is swept up and then like a thin, like almost like wire looking wrap. So it's also like styled up. So it's like a big afro almost, like teased out, big hair. Looks like a little bit like a storm cloud with the grey that's streaked through it.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what Arthur was wearing on principle
That's
because
fair.
he's not mine. I'm borrowing him.
Black tuxedo with silver trim.
Sharp and classic.
It's very good.
In addition to that, who's up on the altar? How are they important to them?
Whose wedding is it?
What a good question. Oh, it is one of Arcady's parents getting remarried. So it's an older couple wedding. So it has that sort of, and people who've been married before, so are much more chill about the whole thing. So the fact that Arthur is like, you never know what could happen, like the notion that Arcady's mother could show up is real. So
Ancestry can go back as far as one or can be as close as one generation. Yeah, I guess that's true. What's hiding in the wings of this place?
I like the thought that this is maybe like a Kew Gardens kind of a place. Like not as indoor as Kew though. Like lots of natural flowers and things like that. I'm sure Pellion approves. Big nature vibes. Even though we're like in a city, but this is like a city garden, something like that. Who is waiting in the wings? Because there's got to be something odd that happened at this wedding.
Yeah, is it a crashed by enemy ninjas, or is it something more?
Something more pedestrian than
Somewhere,
that.
yeah.
Enemy wizards.
Enemy wizards.
Oh, what you got?
Rolling blackout.
Because I was gonna say something similar to that. I like the rolling blackout thing. We sort of see them happening in the distance. It's like an evening wedding. The lanterns, like the actually like physical, like not electric ones. And I think one of these rolling blackouts knocks out the true friends. And everybody sort of briefly like when you actually faint, you sort of just you're only unconscious for like a couple of seconds.
So it's like a jolt almost.
Yeah, but like, or like when you're sort of doing that thing where you sort of fall asleep. No, I'm not asleep. But it's a little bit like that.
Yes, the hypnic jerk, I believe is what they call it.
So that's the odd thing that happens.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very just caught up in the fact that we're at a wedding now.
Yeah. I'm
I know
trying to think of more questions to drill
Okay,
into.
how to declare how I think the event will end, and how we're going to put a stop to it.
Yeah, well, because this is the family wedding is the
Yes.
event.
Yeah.
All right.
We have to stop a wedding. Dang.
Wedding doesn't have to be the thing that stops. It could be at the wedding.
That's true. Yeah, it could be something else relevant or in the area.
No, because the wedding isn't the memory. The memory is the first time y'all told each other you loved each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's the events that end that we have to that have an ending
Yeah.
that we have to avert.
So, how did it end? What do we have to avert?
Maybe there's something to do with some of the people that are here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, like a background dealing situation?
Maybe.
Do you want to use that blackout idea?
Yeah, I think so.
It could be that like the blackout happens to stuff not connected to True Friend and the True Friend parent company, and they could use that as like a obviously this antiquated power grid, you need, our stuff didn't go down, so what if we stepped in and we revamped the whole power grid?
All right. I'm going to put a stop to it. Okay, so this feels like... I think like Arcady, present Arcady, time-traveling Arcady, who has probably been paying more attention to the wedding than maybe should do. It's like, okay, so I've got to go pour some energy into the power grid. Got to top up the meter, as it were. And is okay, I guess I'm gonna be literally like putting some juice in there. That's what it is. It's a clumsy brute magic, but it's still magic.
Mm.
So adjective. Surging.
Okay.
Do you think that surging and blossoming might be synonyms?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, I'll take the anomaly.
Yeah.
Make an anomaly generated. Cool, we're back up to one anomaly, guys.
Yay, we got one there.
We did it.
It's in.
Go team.
Yay.
Yay.
Rolling the dice. I rolled a 6. You guys.
Nice.
I'm so powerful.
Hell yeah.
You're so powerful. So what does this look like?
I think this is a very upsetting visual of somebody's going to walk into one of those little those transformer sort of stations, and it is Arcady is literally like pulling static from the air itself and is channeling naturally forming charged ions and just pouring it into the transformer. I think you see the shock of white hair they have gets thicker as well as they do so.
Love that.
The smell of ozone intensifies a lot.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't do that. Oh, so much.
Well, I got some chai that might help.
Sounds great.
Just taking out, like, hair product, like, do you need any of this? This might help you. Just keep it down a little.
It's actually one of those things. This is one of the few instances. Arcady's hair looks best when there's a small amount of electrical current running through it. It's frizzy the rest of the time. Potent electric just makes it go really neat, perfect curl.
Oh.
Just like
I
Incredible.
love it.
Dang.
Uh,
Okay.
All right.
that's the magic.
All right.
So next,
The museum locks its doors autonomously, and nobody can get in. This is the ending of the event.
So I think what it is we're off to that diner. It's a real like Nowheresville. Like, have any of you do you all know how a Waffle House looks or have been to one before?
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
I now have
Yes.
Congratulations,
last
I
trip to
think.
the States.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll use that as a point of reference then. It's not like I'll go at a general then. Like, there's a few different layouts for a Waffle House, like a kind of like a 2 deep one where you have like booths on either side. I think this is like a one long. You got like the counter, and then you have some seats that are kind of inset into that, and like the folks that are there kind of cross over and serve you from behind the bar, but that crosses over into the booth. Like, just this economical joint, doesn't host more than maybe 15 people at most, and it's just open fryer grill, like you can smell the coffee burning from your seat situation. And it's just Nowheresville. It's like desert highway, like just you have nothing but the wind and the neon light of the sign for company and the lights of the diner itself inside. And it's real quiet, and you have Delta sitting up in a corner, like having a chat with the waiter that's come by. And also just with the cook leaning on the bar every so often. Just the three of them getting familiar with each other. He's got like a newspaper in one hand. He's got a cup of coffee, staining just the well-rubbed, well-cleaned table on the other hand. Just a big old mass of breakfast food laid out in front of him, because it's the perfect time to eat breakfast in the middle of the night. And this is, for it being nowhere, it's still on a major road, and that major road leads out somewhere a lot more populated. This is sort of like city limits, like last stop in town kind of situation.
Why are you here?
Oh, I mean, really, everything's for the show, right? I go from place to place, but it was just one of those kinds of nights. Like, usually you eat in town, close to where you go. For this one, it was just, you get a little ways out. You think, okay, I just gotta knuckle it down to the next place. And you just get hit by a real craving to just stop for take in the air, right? Just out in the middle of nowhere. And there happened to just be this joint on the way, so I pulled in and stopped there. And we can see, too, like, a little bit ways before he even arrives, just sort of tracing into the memory to begin with, shadows of it. But the way that Delta travels is by light itself. Like, he sort of beams himself in. So,
This
I think...
extra motherfucker.
That's very fun and
Love
sexy.
that for him.
I think part of it, yeah. Part of it was, like, traveling along. I think he actually got caught still by the sign itself being so bright. And kind of ended up getting pulled into its gravity.
Oh, I love that. That's incredible. I love that.
So I decided, might as well stop here and have a meal.
How does the event make itself known?
Yeah, not how it starts, but how do you become aware that something happened?
I think this is a quiet place, right? Like, there's not that many people that arrive, but it starts to be just 2 or 3 people trickling in, and they're all wearing the same outfit. It's not like they're there to get at him necessarily, but it's more just they all look like they're from a common group. And, 1, 2 push in through the doors. They seem a little disgruntled, but, they figure they might as well get a coffee and get something to eat. But now it's cars starting to drive up outside. There starts to be like a line building. More people are arriving to this place that normally would attract pretty much only errant travelers or folks that have been here before. There's a lot of hustle and buzz and bumble about what's going on, murmuring in the corners.
What time of night would you say this is? Would you say this is like early morning or like very late at night?
I'd say so late it's early kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of fusion between, like, you're not sure if the day is started or if your day is ending, or how long you've been awake for. Like, the crack of dawn is just over the horizon, and the sky is starting to light up, but you don't see the rays of sun peeking over the horizon.
So did Delta talk to anybody then that day? Like,
I think it's...
how did he engage with it and find out where all these people came from?
Yeah, I think it's the staff got distracted by the sudden hop in just people, and it's like a waiter and a line cook. There's no one else there, so they suddenly have like a ton of moving to do and a ton of time in their hands. And they also need to start packing people into the seats because there's just too many of them. So rather than have more people wait outside, Delta's like, hey, if you want to come get a seat with me, he offers to let them into his table. So as they sit and get ordered and everything, they all start chatting about something that's happening up the road and where they all came from. It's a museum, I think they say they came from, right? Just like one of those like natural history exhibit kind of joints. And it sounds like someone's having problems getting the doors unlocked. So they said they're calling security, but like all the people are already there to start getting the place ready for the day, right? But they can't. They can't get in.
Mm. So do we head over to the museum? Would we... Sorry, Zach, please.
I say, why do you think this is what they covered up or stopped?
So this is a program about knowing people, right? Almost like an algorithm. And you start to use it to get to know other people. That's how it started out. But I think it's almost like an Amazon situation. Like, you take this thing that you can do and you start applying it other places. So not only is it getting to know people and getting them to connect to each other, it's also just getting to know people in general. Where they need to go, where they need to be, who needs to be let into where, when.
Oh, so it's like their authentication to get into the building now. It's required technology rather than a technology that is being adopted by choice. Like smartphones.
Yeah. Like a Ring situation, like all the doorbells with surveillance on. That exact kind of feeling. So something's happened, and they've just lost utter control of it.
So is that... You got to roll, because it feels like you've made a theory.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I know how this started.
All right.
I got to stop them from putting those things down to begin with. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, how do I do this? Is there a way for me to do this magically? I'd like to cast a spell. I haven't cast any. I've been the normal guy this whole time.
You just described traveling by light and arriving at this diner because the Polovitz sign was too strong.
Hush.
I think you're doing all right.
I think what he does is he's going to use the light to try and fry the equipment. How do I describe this objectively? Focused? I think it's a focused spell. Sort of like a magnifying glass over, well, a line of ants. I hate to say that. That's the way it's known, though.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Roll them bones.
Here we go. Time for them bones. That's a 2.
Oh, no.
Woo!
We got an anomaly.
We did it.
Got an anomaly.
Go squad.
Incredible.
So it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. And in fact, it gets worse. Someone tell me how it gets worse, please.
So you were trying to deactivate the security system, basically, so it couldn't lock them out.
More just fry it before it could even get installed in the first place. Beam of light, focus in, melt that stuff.
I think maybe you weren't there quick enough. I think for all that this was a great idea, it happened too late to effectively stop the effect taking place.
Mm.
And now it's sort of like, I don't know, word's gone. Someone please take the wheel.
I shall take the wheel. I think that
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jeebus.
I think that how this makes things worse is it's not only the one building now that they're locked out
Ooh.
of, it's any museum connected to this organization that owned this original museum. All of these museums, all of these, storage of cultural knowledge become completely inaccessible. And perhaps even it's not just this one museum or like 5 museums. It's like all museums. I don't know how that works, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, given that, we've got sort of an Amazon situation going on here, perhaps they're trying to tap into like museum infrastructure. It makes it so that the problems just got way worse. There's a lot more people now who can't get into their jobs.
There is it reminds me of the whole situation with copyright and things like that. It's not like a one-to-one situation, but how Disney have bought up all these different properties so they aren't out there anymore. Like it becomes then
Yeah.
put in the Disney vault. Stuff getting, or fucking the way Warner Brothers just pulled a bunch of points to all the streaming services, like just pulling stuff without
Yeah.
warning. No, you don't get to have this anymore.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe because you did that shutdown on that one place and fried it, the system panicked because I can't see that. I needed everything. What if they try to take it away from me? I need to keep all of this before someone stops me from having it.
I see.
And it's like that panicked desperation that you might see in a child, that fear of losing something before you even get a chance to properly have it. And it is a very intelligent, sapient thing for this system to do.
So what are we gonna do about it now?
Now it's on high alert. Oh boy.
We did it!
We did it.
And honey points to the timeline. We've got a big storm coming.
We do have a big storm coming. Now, this is an interesting circumstance because it's like, how do you get from a freak storm? How do you get from, something that is purely mundane, purely internal, tangible, mechanical, to a freak storm that destroys, acres of land?
It's the future. We could have weather controlling devices.
That's true.
Yeah.
We could have weather controlling
satellites.
wizards. We're getting ahead of
We do have
ourselves.
weather controlling
Yeah,
wizards.
say, we still got to
It's
solve
like,
this off.
I am a weather controlling wizard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right. This is when it starts getting bad.
Yeah.
This is, my memory here starts afterwards. I came to this place after and we see just fully destroyed, wrecked, trees uprooted, blasted.
Did we fix the museum thing yet?
overwatered.
Yeah.
Nope, we're still here.
I think
We're still in the
gotta fix
museum.
that
Did
first.
We made it
Oh,
worse,
okay,
but we
sorry.
still have
We
to
made
fix
it worse.
No,
You said there's a big storm coming, and I thought that was my.
no, I'm sorry.
Okay,
so-
That's on me, not. Yeah,
That is
no,
fair.
The segue was too good.
I'm so sorry. Keep that in mind, though. We'll come back to it. I'll go forward to it.
Yeah.
We'll go forward to it.
I mean, because what ended was all the museums being locked.
Yep.
Well, now it's all the museums being locked. So we need to. Maybe this is like we have to try and commune with the AI. We have to try and
Yeah, I think I have an idea for that. Though.
make it let go of the things that it's got a hold on.
So plan
Like
B.
offering it something else.
Or
Like-
let's force it into a situation where we can talk to it first at a single point. So I think plan B then is to, instead of trying to fry things, is to put a veil of shadow over all of these systems except at a single point, where we can then get contact with it, get its attention focused to one area.
Okay.
And I think
Sounds like you're doing another.
Yep.
What are you doing? This sounds like more magic. Give me the adjective, Boo.
Sounds like a spell.
I'll take some inspiration from Zach and say obfuscating.
Very good.
Sorry, I just heard the sound of a monkey going off on a virtual assistant. This is freaky stuff. that scared the pants off me. It's still going. I can't stop it. I'm just gonna roll. I think it somehow heard me through the door. 3.
Oh, jeez.
So that didn't work either. But it didn't make it worse.
Still not resolved.
It's a dead end, at least. It doesn't make things worse.
I know. It could have. It's like you've made headway, but you haven't resolved it yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe we have its attention.
And not much else yet.
That's not enough to fix it.
Mm.
All of us here chatting to this thing, attempting to get it to see. And yet. Okay.
What if you made life better for humans instead of killing them all?
Yeah, fair. I guess, the logic may not necessarily hold.
That's been the question, right? I mean, what if we could get it to shut off something else? Switch what it's locking it down.
Oh, point.
Yeah, are you sure you want this? Are you sure you wouldn't want this instead? Ooh, like, offer it up something else.
What else do we turn it towards?
I don't know. Maybe, and this could be a mundane thing, we tell it to stop looking at humans and start looking at the world as a whole. I mean, this can backfire. This is like not full-on metagaming, but hey, we know a big storm is coming. Like, what if it's like, and then it can get really, then the AI can get really upset about climate change.
But you see, the issues, yeah.
But maybe it's because we were trying to get it, but we're trying to encourage it to do big picture thinking, right? Maybe we don't expressly say, you need to stop holding on so tight, you need to see the bigger picture. But maybe like, hey, rather than like focusing your attention in museums, why not go up to the satellites and look there and get a big picture?
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, like, I could roll this, somebody else can roll this, however we like, but it's like, we're trying to get it to look elsewhere. This is just flavoring what that might look like if it works.
I see.
Who wants to roll it? I will, I suggest.
Yeah, I was about to say, why don't you give it a roll?
All right. No magic.
No
We're
magic.
just chatting to this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or trying to offer it stuff.
Yep.
That's a 6, baby.
Hell yeah!
Goodness
Hell
gracious,
yeah.
great balls of
The museum's unlock as True Friend widens its
Scope,
Viewpoint.
inevitably.
Thank you, Scope. Thank you.
Oh boy.
All right. So
Now it's storm time.
now,
Now
Zachary.
Now it's storm time.
So sorry. Now here is the true leader.
Yes. And this is the interesting thing is that, like, this timeline, like we've been shifting. I think the way that I've been thinking about it, like, because like otherwise these events would be changed as well.
Yeah. It's more like Bill and Ted time. Like we're doing
Yeah.
all the changes and then we're letting it go to see then what happens.
Exactly. We have these crystallized moments that we can modify, and then like the spirit of that reverberates back through the timeline. So like this was
Yeah, we're setting up our dominoes.
Yeah, this was the worst part. This was the worst timeline. This was True Friend got, huge, enormous, became the dominant technological force in the world.
Yeah, it hasn't fully taken over yet, but it's there. It's this point of power.
The machine's rolling.
And is now like controlling like weather satellites and
Yeah.
stuff. And so like, you know, maybe there was I'm not sure what, like this was like not even there wasn't even anything here, but they wanted to see if they could like destroy like raise or like demolish an area with just weather, so they wouldn't need to like pull out machines and stuff to do it, and they succeeded.
Yeah.
And so it's like now it's like, oh, this was a successful test, and now it's like, oh, we've discovered that there's silicon here, or we've discovered that there's like lithium here, and there's like a village, we can just remove it with this magic, with this weather device. And, you know, afterwards, you know, you can't destroy it so fully that life can't be rebuilt there, but it does mean that it's going to be a lot harder to build life back.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pellion's here on this patch of land trying to get it renatured, essentially.
Mm.
How's Vulcan helping with this one?
You know, he's doing his thing. He's flapping back and forth, like you know, I gave him this. He has this little pouch on his. It's my seed spreader. It's not just a pouch. It's a whole mechanism. And you see, like, have you seen baseball coaches or like umpires chalking a field with that little like grinder? He's got this little thing that he can hold in his talons and kind of like shake as he flies, and it just like, you know, it spreads like, you know, seed or just any like nutrients or whatever across like an area. So he's like flying up and down as I'm doing my individual small things.
Okay. What was removed from here in the first place?
This one, the thing about it, the thing that gets me steamed is that there wasn't even anything. It was just forest. It was just woodlands. And they didn't even take the lumber. It was just a field test.
Is there any civilization nearby to here?
Yeah. This was you know, this was down in probably in like South America, where they could do it without being seen, without as much what's the word, scrutiny. You know, they could just be like, oh yeah, that was just a freak storm. But, you know, we know from what comes later that it is more than just a freak storm.
We have to prevent the freak storm.
Yeah. Well, we can't prevent this one, but we can stop them from doing it forward.
All right.
The floor is yours. How are we going to prevent this?
How are we?
All right, you've posed your theory. What does Pellion stopping it look like?
Maybe they need drones to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
could talk to the hawks. I could talk to the birds of prey. Anytime that there's a scouting, just, you know, any eyes in the sky get taken out by things bigger and meaner.
Guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna pick Swift. Nothing's faster on the wing than a good red-tailed
Nice.
hawk. T90 red-tailed hawks.
Question for the group. Is Swift also similar to Surging?
I think they could be synonyms.
It could be. I'll defer to you, but I think they could also be, you know, you could describe something as swift and surging, but I don't know that one necessarily makes the
That's
other.
fair.
That's fair. Yeah, I will say yeah.
Well, when I looked up synonyms for surging, Swift is not among the immediate group.
Okay,
There we go. Sounds good.
we'll take it.
All right.
We'll take it.
Well, then Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go.
Goodness.
And that is a 6.
Woo!
Fuck yeah.
They could, and they try for a while, making bigger and tougher drones, but eventually you just build in fucking helicopters, and that's not cheap.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we've done it. We've
Yeah.
saved the day, and it is time to return to our time lock. To return to where we left from to enjoy having saved the world. So, the last step is resolution. For each of your memories, roll a number of dice equal to the number of anomalies generated during that memory, plus the number of unspent anomalies.
We have 2
We
unspent
have a
anomalies.
lot of unspent anomalies, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we've got 2.
We've got 2. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So most of these memories are just we're just rolling 1 die. But except for Arcady and Delta, we'll roll 2 on for those 2 memories.
Wait, I thought it said so the number of unspent anomalies.
We have 2 unspent anomalies, so it's 2 on
We
all
have
of
2
them.
unspent anomalies, so we all of us roll 2, except for the people who
Yes.
generated anomalies. They
We'll
roll
roll
3
3. Yep.
3.
Yes, you're
on the
quite right.
memories that they generated. The
Yeah.
anomalies.
Okay, so we'll be doing this for each of our memories. Poof. So, do we want to do these one at a time, I guess?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's get
let's-
weird.
We do it in the order that we like introduced them.
Yeah.
In the timeline.
Timeline
All
order.
right.
All right. So me first, I guess. I get to
Yeah,
roll
let's see how this goes.
Yep.
2 for
2d6.
finding my home. Whoop! There goes one of them. Ooh,
Oh, no.
dear.
And you take the lower.
Taking the lower, huh?
Yep.
What'd you get?
I got a 2.
Oh, no.
On a 1 or a 2, this memory went the exact opposite. Describe how this twisted memory makes you feel the opposite emotion. Hope becomes despair.
Hope becomes despair. Awesome. So, arriving at this dilapidated looking space, and I guess,
Is it even there?
is it even there? I want to say no. There's nowhere for him to go. Somehow these anomalies meant that this tower never existed, or perhaps was knocked down before he found it. And so he continues his wandering with no space to call his own, and begins to despair. Poor guy.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
That's rough, buddy.
Rough indeed.
All right. So for Arcady, it was leaving home, running away. I got a 5 and a 2.
Ooh.
This memory goes exactly the opposite. So, what's the original? I think my original vibe was pride. So the opposite of pride is shame. So Arcady doesn't leave, at least not at that point. And I think they get caught in their attempt to run away and belittled by their mother and made to feel shame about it, about being ungrateful. And I think it set them back for a long time. And a lot of their choices become more about, they come from a different place. They come from trying to like atone. And it's a lot, I think they're a lot sadder as an adult as a result. Like, spite can be a great motivator, but it's not necessarily a healthy one.
He can only do so much.
Yeah.
Whoop. Here we go. Up on the chopping block. 2d6.
Yep.
That's a d26. Good job, V.
Try again, bud. Try again.
I was about to do the same exact thing twice. That's not the command. Okay.
You gotta do the T.
I gotta do the T. My hands are shaking. 2.
Oof.
we are
Guys.
unlucky souls.
We're doing so bad.
We're doing so well.
We're doing so bad.
We're doing so
okay.
good.
Okay, so
Good for us.
you were feeling...
It's the first show. I think I know how this goes. Opposites. Like, he gets there.
Well, the opposite... Yeah, what it suggests is the opposite for gratitude becomes bitterness.
Yeah, it is bitterness. So he gets there, right? He's all packed up. He's ready. He's up to doing the show as it goes through. And it's just nothing. It's a dull thud. No one likes it. He gets booed off the stage to something that he thought would be sort of his first breaking out. And every time he ever looks back on that, he understands that the business is rough and not everyone's going to like what you're doing. And sometimes you just can't win. And that's something that sticks with him, that he had such a hard beginning. And that's something that carries along the way too. Like his shows, as he goes forward, they're less personal. He's not putting as much of his himself into them. It's more of a facade that he generates to try and get people to like what he's doing than something that's honestly what he thinks should be put on.
Yeah.
Oof.
This is going real bad, y'all.
We're all here just like, oof.
Well, we saved the world.
We did save the world.
We
We did save the world.
But not ourselves, I don't think.
Not ourselves, no.
We're only 3 in. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going. Let's see how fucked up we can make these wizards.
So it's 2d6 for
Mm-hmm.
Wolgan.
Oh,
Yeah.
not Wolgan.
Oh, Wolgan. It's a 3.
Okay.
Yep. That's a
Remember,
1.
No, that's a 1.
Love becomes hate, and the memory is the exact opposite.
Oh, boy. What does that mean for me creating my little guy?
Your little guy fucking hates you. Why did you create me, father?
Or the attempt to create something fails, or something
Yeah.
gets destroyed.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's just it doesn't work. It's like, yeah, why should I was going out of my space. It was leaving my wheelhouse, and it was ended up with this, just not good creation. It just didn't a fully, a cauldron full of viscous bile. Like, what are you gonna, yeah, stick to the plants. Let me go.
Buddy!
Mhm.
I'm so sad. Oh my god.
This game is
That's mean, yeah.
We're getting destroyed.
It said at the top it's about dealing with loss.
We are
Like,
getting destroyed.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
if we look at if you look at the illustrations in this game, the last page in Resolution is a wizard sitting in front of a grave crying.
Yeah.
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 Well, hey, now Sam's got a role about his wizard having a grandchild of many generations removed, who
Oh,
is
boy.
the great hope for magic or whatever.
Yup.
Yup.
Go on, Sam.
Great.
It's a 2. Oh no.
Is it okay? But so the child isn't born.
I was gonna
Oh.
say the child is born still. Like, it's still born.
Mhm.
So he
Mm.
arrives to,
Mm-hmm.
funeral for a life that could have been.
Woof.
somber event of grief.
Yeah.
Fuck. Poor guy.
All right. Cool. I've now got to roll 3d6.
Yeah.
My turn? Yeah, because it was the wedding before the museum. All right.
Oh,
Rolling
boy.
3d6. 2 unspent anomalies and 1 generated. A 4 is the lowest. Oh, so this doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, no love confession.
The memory doesn't happen. Maybe it happened at another time, but maybe we didn't attend this wedding. Maybe this wedding didn't happen. But it's not the opposite.
That's true.
You're not driven apart.
Yeah.
And maybe, oh god, maybe they just pine. Maybe it remains, unrequited? Unrequited?
I was gonna say, like, I think this sounds like it's just vibes. I think it's just vibes for the whole time.
No!
Mhm.
God. It remains UST.
We're at the wedding,
Yeah.
and we turn to say something, and then the ninjas attack.
There's this massive power surge. My mum shows up and is just like kicking up. The focus is on that.
A storm, yeah. She fucking descends on a storm cloud wreathed in lightning.
Doing her best Maleficent impression. Like, you didn't invite me? She is that
Mhm.
dramatic.
And we have to fight off her lightning golems.
Yeah. So I think it was just like the moment wasn't there.
Hmm.
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, it's like Arthur, and he's like, tell me about it later, and has to go.
Oh no.
And you never get to say it. Yeah.
I hate it.
It never
Alrighty.
feels right again.
Let's see about that diner, shall we?
Let's see about that diner.
Let's see about that diner. 3d6.
3d6. Be almost typing in 2. 1.
Buddy.
Just not lucky. Just not lucky today. 2 5s and a 1.
Uh-huh.
We
Good
used
work.
up all our luck earlier.
We did. It all got sapped.
So this changes to despair.
I
The
think
exact opposite.
Yeah, I think what it is he just shoots down the road, and he still gets caught up to see this thing, but it's in wreck. Like, this is a place that has just closed down, that's not serving anymore, and something has happened to it. Like, windows are busted in, there's no one there to receive him, and it's one of those things where, like, normally you kind of pass by places that are like this, so you just don't really notice them, right? But because it's standing out here, still lit up in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, it's kind of like a monument to decay, almost, of just seeing resiliency break down and become nothing. And even though he moves on from that, it's stuck with him as he's going along. There's just no home for him there.
All right, Zach. Bring us home, buddy.
All right. 2d6.
2d6.
This is rebuilding in the wake. So that was a 6,
And
and then a 3, which I guess makes sense. There was no terrible storm,
yeah.
so there was no need to regrow. But the push of it in my mind doesn't happen either.
Yeah.
Rest in piss to our sad wizards.
Yeah, good lord.
Uh-huh.
we really batted 0 there.
Oh, poor
Well,
little guys.
Well, that was Mage Against the Machine. We saved the world. We are significantly sadder as people.
do we? And here's the thing: do the us in this new timeline even know that we saved the world?
Well, that's a good question. Like, it does state we should describe exactly what happened in the new timeline and our character's reaction.
Yeah, that's true.
How do we close this out?
I like the notion that we know how the old timeline went, and we now know that that's lost to us. So I think there's this, if you guys like this as well, there's this sort of grief for the opportunities not had and the people that we aren't anymore. And that guilt you feel about being sad about stuff, like, I shouldn't feel bad about it. We won. We did the thing. We saved the world. But you never got to have that joy. You never got to have that grandchild. You didn't get to create life. You didn't get to have the great connection with somebody. And I think this group of wizards are more isolated. Like, it is like it worked. And maybe True Friend is there, but True Friend is a friend to people.
Maybe the true friends were the...
My God, Sam!
Sorry, I didn't get to finish my fucking joke, because I just laughed at it.
I mean, what was it going to go anywhere that we didn't know it was going to go?
Yeah. I think we got him. Yeah, I think that's just it. It's the situation where it feels like the past was better.
Even though the world ended.
Yeah, despite...
Until it was worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this, I suppose, and like, humanity is maybe more connected and has this massive, wonderful connection with this machine that wants to be a part of humanity. And we as individuals all lost our points of connection.
I like that.
As a result of doing so.
It's very powerful.
Just get trapped in a vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, though, you'll get a call, Arcady. Be like, hey, none of us can remake the lives that we lost for ourselves.
No.
But I made something for you.
Okay.
And I send you this like address, coordinates. Like, you know how to ride the lightning. You can get there. And there is a mountaintop out in the Rockies where the trees grow in this ring. And there is this incredible garden of high altitude flowers. And when you get there, equally confused is a man that you have not seen in a good number of years. With a letter with coordinates.
And I think with that opportunity, Arcady realizes what has been gifted to them and is gonna pay it forward, as it were. What is this? Who did they help? I want to carry on this wonderful thing that Zach has done, and then we can do a little circle of it,
chain around, yeah.
rather than reciprocal. I think while coupled up and have like wandering around in like a national park or whatever, Arcady and Arthur find this old ranger station on the side of a mountain and pulls out like a seeing stone and is like, Bell, old man, you know how you like buildings that look like they're basically falling down in the middle of nowhere?
Familiar, yes.
I think you could build something here.
I think I probably could.
Good place for kids too.
And now I'm just thinking, How do I pay it forward?
Truly the question.
What do you do for Delta? Our bitter showman, who's gone full David Tennant in Fright Night at this point. He's just mad at the world.
Oh no. Poor guy. I think I'm like struggling. I'm like, what do I do for a man who's so sad?
Such a good question.
Because I can't ever give you back the experience of your first performance. And I can't even, I mean, that feels bad too.
No, take an idea, run with it.
I want to say, like, you know, can't give you back your first performances, but if you need a performance buddy, like maybe a 2-man show.
Oh, a duo.
A duo.
Break it up a little bit. Get some variation in the routine. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Someone to bounce things off of. And also someone to just relate to.
The fucking visual of this flashy Vegas-esque motherfucker and this crotchety old man wizard is just... This is like fuck Penn and Teller. This is the new duo magic act.
This is where we try to bust out and become the new Penn and Teller. Fair?
Hell yeah.
I love that, but like rediscovering the joy of performance and like being on the road and connecting with people.
Yeah.
Because like Belle's always been a wanderer.
Especially now.
Yeah.
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 I think I know what Delta can do for Pelion. It's subtle. Something you wouldn't notice to begin with. The nights seem clearer. You can see the moon more often. The days, clouds part just that much more. They aren't as pleasant. It's just budging things here and there. So you're not getting horribly rained on. Everything is just calm. Getting swept aside. And it's something that's small for one day, but something that builds up over weeks, months, years. Just the nice weather seems to follow you.
I think Pelion kind of looks up and, you know, it's tough to be, you know, inspired in the rain. I mean, it can happen, but, you know, you need sunshine just as much as you need water. And he looks up at a beautiful day, sees birds winding their way through the sky. He says, well, everyone sucks at something the first time. And he goes to find a book that he threw in the corner a long time ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, the world is not perfect. But what is?
What is?
At least we're getting better.
Nobody's nervous.
Probably
Yeah.
Welcome to the beginning of season 7.
Woo!
Follow the leader.
Welcome to season 7 of Follow the Leader. GMless games, we're back in the saddle, baby.
Starting off with a bang.
Back to our regularly scheduled content.
We got new friends.
You know, we are going to do the finale of 50 Presents.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We will end the beginnings of the year of Boundless Wonder, don't worry. But in the meanwhile, and until we are together again, I have been Jade. You can find me on the internet at Jade.Strose. It'd be great if you wanted to give the podcast a follow on Twitter. We are still there. On Tumblr, we're also FTLcast, ftlcast.com. Our Patreon continues to have a whole bunch of great content if you'd like to support it over at patreon.com/FTLcast. Playing with me today has been Sam.
I've been Sam. You can find me on Tumblr at SassyTale or on Twitter at SAKLo, though a lot more rarely these days. And thanks for listening. If you listen to the show, please talk about it on social media. Use the hashtag FTLcast. We'd love to know what you think.
Hell yeah.
We've had Zach.
My name is Zachary Fredrickson. You can find me on Twitter at IamSkiddingGod. You can find the music I make at IamBugbear.bandcamp.com. I'm in a new place. I've got a new graphics card. I'm going to try to download Pro Tools and maybe make some more music. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. And for the first time, but not the last time, we've had Quarry.
Hi, folks. I've been Corey. You can find me on Twitter at Endless Musings, and wherever I end up, we'll find out. So it'll be a journey together, but I'm excited to be here, and I hope to be here for a long while.
All right, everybody. Take it easy, and we'll be back soon.
See you next time.
Let us clap.
Clap time. Yay.
Hi, it's August, and I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed us, please consider leaving a rating on your podcast platform of choice, telling your friends about us, or tweeting about us using the FTLcast hashtag. We are also part of a nonprofit podcasting guild called Standing Stones Productions. We do a variety of shows, including The Room Where It Happened and Dumb Kids Playing Hero, 2 actual play shows, and a Steven Universe discussion podcast called Gay Space Rocks. We also do live streams at twitch.tv/StandingStonesProd. You can keep up with everything that we do on Twitter at Stones_standing. Unfortunately, Standing Stones was already taken. Your support means a lot. Thanks again!